name's Chris Trani, and this is another goddamn podcast. It's the Dario Durham vanity show where he's got extras like Darrian and Delmy. I don't know. Man, I don't like this take at all. Fuck me. Be positive. Chapter 3.
Our lives are just collections of stories. And while we can't always control the where, or the what, or the when, the why and the how are up to us. A story worth telling takes courage to write.
It takes courage to believe in yourself.
It takes courage to be a good person, even when it's not required.
Hey, give me a positive. Okay. I heard you positive. Okay.
It takes courage to be fearless, but you'll only be fearless if you fear less and less every day.
It takes the courage to be positive.
It's like we always start off like in the middle of a conversation. Something happens right before we hit record.
Yeah.
It's good times.
It is.
I say that like I know.
Last week.
Man, we talking about the chicken sandwiches, man. We talking about the chicken sandwiches. Delmy did a review on it. What'd you think?
I did. Well, I stopped by 2 of them so we could all review them tonight. I went to 2 Popeyes locations last night. No one asked me to do this. It was out of the goodness of my heart. So I picked up a regular and I picked up a spicy. I started with the spicy. It's good. I get it. I wouldn't stand in line for an hour for it.
No, hell no.
No.
Not for no damn chicken.
No, I wouldn't do that. But would I eat it again? Sure.
Yeah.
Am I going to? For sure.
It's
the pickle.
What?
Oh, that's what she
pickle.
said.
That's what she said.
Thank you.
One for Darrian.
Yeah, there you go. You get a point. I was waiting who gonna say it first. Which one? Who gonna say it? I mean, you know what I feel about this whole damn thing? The shit been out for like 2 months already, right?
Yep.
I tried it out a little while ago.
Yeah.
It was really good. I moved on from it. Nobody's giving the spicy chicken nuggets from Wendy they shine. You know what I mean? We cried for it to come back for a couple years now. It's back. And all of a sudden we transitioned to the Popeyes chicken. That's injustice, man.
Right.
It's injustice.
I'm so glad to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Chris is like, what is this podcast about?
Yeah,
What is
man.
this? What is it about? Like,
It's a fun podcast. Thanks for being on it.
You know, I'm teasing. I always wanted to come here and talk about chicken. Oh man.
Man, we had a lot of food conversations. Last episode chapter, we talked about barbecue. Dusty ass barbecue.
Dusty ass barbecue. Dusty ass dry rub.
Dry rub.
Actually,
he doesn't
What
appreciate dry rub.
Do you like dry rub barbecue?
Man, you're gonna hate me.
No, it's okay.
About like 6 months ago, I went pescatarian.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That means fish.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So no chicken sandwiches. Pescatarian. There you go.
We gonna catch on, man.
God.
I know what that word pesca.
God. I didn't know it was on a food podcast.
We do everything here, man.
We have to stop saying yes to things. Yeah.
What made you get on become a pescatarian?
I was
Pescatarian.
Pescatarian sound like a religion.
That's what I'm saying. Sound like you're in somebody's church.
Sound like you pray to
Pescatarian.
Aquaman or some shit. I don't know.
You know what's funny and annoying? Everyone makes that joke.
Damn, I'm unoriginal as fuck.
Sorry. I'm teasing.
Basic.
Yeah.
White women. Anyway, keep going.
No. I got a couple of. By the way, I'm Chris. Do I say that?
Yeah. I mean, we go over it, and it's
okay.
It's a weird. You'll see.
Yeah, this is like the Quentin Tarantino podcast. It's like
is.
non-linear and like
It is. Yeah.
At the end, I'll be like,
Sorry about that shootout we had earlier. I didn't want you to walk in on it.
Yeah, Delmy was doing lines.
Ready to go.
Doing what I do.
She had a chicken sandwich in one hand.
She was snorting off a pickle.
Pickle. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Snorted? Is it relish? I don't know.
I mean, it became relish.
Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I mean, for the third time.
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is Darrian's first time meeting you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, bro.
How
nice
are
to
you?
meet you.
Yeah,
I'm
great.
well. Thank you.
This
Thanks
is
for
the second
having
time
me.
we shook hands, though.
It counts. The math is going.
So, how
do you become pescatarian?
Yes. Tell us about the, finally, how did you become pescatarian?
This is what I'm here for. Like,
like grilling you on pescatarianism.
anyone sitting at home like, man, what's that white boy eat?
We talking about chicken. I wonder if he's on to this.
That's the number one question that we got.
What's that guy into?
What is Chris eat?
Yeah. I mean, if we're doing it, oh man. Oh god, I thought we were gonna talk about comedy, but all right.
Later.
No, I'm kidding. I went on a trip with my uncle. We were on a volunteer trip. We were volunteering in one of those Trump jails. We're actually trying to help people get out of them, and he's the healthiest guy I know. He's like 70.
Oh wow.
And like agile, like just healthy. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "What's your deal?" And he's like, he goes probably in the 80s he gave up meat.
Oh wow.
And he's like, he just felt better immediately, and he's in health. He goes, I honestly think that like not eating meat has like helped my health in the overall. So,
I can imagine.
So I'm cheating a little. Like I'm still having fish and stuff.
Yeah. That's cool though, man. Like working out, they say eat a lot of fish, because it gives you the omega-3.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot of that. I don't know what the fuck it does. Yeah. But I read it in a book somewhere. So
do you feel better like after like just eating?
I definitely like feel heavier after. I will say though, like after I've been drinking, I'm craving meat. I'm like craving a protein.
Really?
Because no amount of bagel, no amount of like salmon is gonna like, because you're hungry.
It's not gonna you're hungry. Yeah.
So I'm like, so. I cheat.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Or you have to find your new drunk food.
Yeah. Yeah.
No more White Castles.
Yeah. Popeyes, chicken sandwiches.
No more of that. Welcome to the podcast. This is chapter 3.
Finally.
Yeah, right. Chapter 3. We got wonderful Chris Trani here, man.
Yeah.
So appreciate you being on it, man.
Thank you for having me. For real. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man.
Appreciate
the first time that we met at the Funny Little Liars show.
Yeah.
And man. Caught a vibe right away, man. Like I just knew it, man. You could just tell certain people are just good people. You know?
And I was fucking funny. Like,
right. That's the other part to it. You were funny. Yeah.
Come on, man. Like that's all I care about.
Yeah, you did tear the house down. You tore it up, man.
I love how he threw himself in there. Like, I mean, you and me, we're funny. We tore the house down.
We both did, I think.
But I mean, I had a good set too.
You know what's crazy about that?
You did actually. You did.
Thank you, man. You know what's crazy is like I'm on the show, right? And I'm looking at everybody go up, and they gave me the guest spot. That was the first episode. First chapter. That was the first show that we had.
First episode.
And I'm looking, long story. I'm thinking to myself, dude, how am I gonna go up here with these hitters, man? Like, how am I gonna go up there with a guest spot and just continue? Because like the show was just it was up here the whole time.
You crushed it though. You really did. I do want to say this, like on air, like I don't know you're mad or jealous because he did well, but like, he crushed it. He really did.
Appreciate you.
To the point that like I know that this is a positive podcast, but part of me was also like, fuck this dude.
Man, say that. He said, "Fuck me." Yeah.
I was like, another goddamn comic moving to the city, and I like. They need to die.
Just get rid of them all.
Like, there's so much competition, and I can't believe this is documented. But all right,
and then we got you on this, and I crushed it, so I'm good with that. Like, that's the only part of this I'm about to play for everybody. Tune in to minute 10. It gets real.
Billy,
first 9 minutes are about chicken sandwiches, but then
and pescatarianism.
Pescatarianism.
I did it on purpose.
He's the valedictorian of pescatarian.
I did it on purpose. Anyway, we're talking about. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know we got a little bit about you, and we're gonna get into the the camps and things that you try to do, the work you're trying to do there. But just tell us about you, where you're from, how you get started in comedy.
Oh, shite. Okay. I feel like I have to say I'm a U.S. citizen, which like people. Now this is a horrible way to start. And I don't know why I looked at you. I don't know why I looked at you. Oh my god!
Hold on.
Oh my god!
Can I make you feel better? I was like,
oh my god!
I was like, all right, man. I heard it come out, and I was like, don't make too much eye contact.
I wish I could have just seen
that was
Billy's
I heard it
reaction.
come out.
That was good.
I heard it come out, and then I was like, don't make too much eye contact. I was trying to tell you like with my mind, but then my big eyes were like, don't make too much eye contact with him, because then it'll just dig a hole.
Oh man, that
it's
was
fine. We've met 3 times.
Yeah.
Bam.
She goes, I'm not gonna bring that up on air.
I'm not gonna do it. again.
It's okay.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
okay.
I mean, Jesus Cristo. Okay, so. all right.
I'm Filipino.
Oh.
Oh shit! Oh damn!
I feel like my career's over. Like it's like, I feel
we're
like
good.
this. Yeah. I'm gonna climb in. What if you guys were like savage, like underneath all this? So we're like, we're positive.
Yeah, we're positive
We're
people.
gonna walk in the
Positive.
room and you're like, that fucking cuck.
Never again. Don't end this episode.
White boy eating fish.
Should have had the chicken.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like he over here down in my chicken sandwiches.
This is all a trap. Yeah.
You didn't know the minute you walked into a garage
no
with a car
shit.
in it
Yeah.
still. That should have been
Yeah.
an indicator.
Yeah, I'm only on the podcast because Dario told me I'd get paid. Like he told me.
Shit.
Oh, he
Yeah,
did,
he told me.
Oh God.
Yeah, you got like 100,000 viewers.
Speak
and
it up,
like,
man.
Yeah,
Hey, we hope. Shoot,
Yeah.
follow us.
Don't worry. He said that you are only going to make 77% of what they make. So
I
mean-
only have to worry about it. So 77% worth.
We shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wait, no.
gotta get it where you fit it. We trying to be changed.
Double
Game changers.
minority.
it's great. There's flies.
We keep it real.
Yeah,
We set those free.
yeah,
Set
real
those
cheap.
free.
I'm kidding.
Meanwhile,
I mean, we in the garage.
My only
so.
goal is for you guys to fight. That's all I want.
Ain't gonna
Like
happen.
you know, like
I don't think it can happen.
No, that ain't gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen.
The thing,
Look,
see,
he
What?
tried.
He tried.
Let me think of something.
Wouldn't it be cool if the producers of the Be Positive podcast just went at it?
wouldn't
I
that,
haven't
man,
said
that'll
anything.
be
You
like,
notice I
that'll
have not said anything.
Yeah.
I'm like listening.
that'll
What's
be.
your idea?
Yeah, no. You know what? I'm gonna back out of this one. You know, I'm
We
always-
have
We're really back.
We here now.
We're really
So
back in.
you are from Chicago.
No. Did a bit of I guess, a Navy brat, right? Like my dad. So, my dad actually got out of it. But bottom line is like, there's no way to do this in a quick, efficient way. I'll put it. My mom grew up in Ireland. My dad was in the Navy. Got stationed in Northern Ireland. Met my mom on a dance floor in Northern Ireland. 3 months later, they were engaged. 3 months after that, 3 months after that, they were married. So met 6 months later, married. Had my brother David in Ireland, my brother Lee in Spain, my brother Sean in Spain. Got out of Navy. I was born in America. I'm the only one who can be president.
Man, we need you.
Then he took a job in England. So I grew up in England.
Okay.
Yeah, and where they had my brother and my sister. And so 10 years in England, and then moved to St. Louis, Missouri when I was 10.
Okay.
And so St. Louis is home.
St. Louis home.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
So man, from England to St. Louis.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
like a
dude.
big.
Man,
God.
that is,
You know,
that's a
Yeah.
big
it's
difference.
like whoa.
It's like going from a Cadillac to Missouri. You know, it's just.
Shout out to St. Louis.
We love you, St.
We
Louis.
love you, St. Louis.
I mean, I love St. Louis, but like, Christ, I just put my foot. Yeah.
Gunning everybody down. What? Anybody can get it.
This is like 60 minutes on how to ruin your career. You know, that's
Take them all down.
yeah. This feels like a setup job.
That's what we do. We just sit back. All right, so tell us what you think about Chicago.
That's why we're recording in an alley.
in case we got to run. Getaway.
Good
We
God.
got the getaway car right here. You mentioned a little bit, real briefly at the top about doing some work down by the camps, man. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I love how you say the camps. You know,
I
like,
mean, shit.
no, yeah,
I don't
it's,
wanna say that.
it's
Kinda
not
make it
something
sound
to
bad.
certainly dwell on, but like, I do speak Spanish. Not looking at Delmy, but I do speak Spanish, and so I volunteered for a week at one of those like, lack of a better term, like Donald Trump concentration camps,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it was actually one of the coolest weeks of my life. Like, these are people fleeing Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, like seriously seeking asylum. And so you sit in a room with them and you're like, tell us your story. And you try and see if they fit the legal requirements to seek asylum in the United States.
Wow, that's gotta be. Is that
Yeah.
tough? Is it hard? What is it
Yeah,
like?
it's real tough.
Man, I could
Yeah.
imagine. It's
Yeah.
like social working, really.
Yeah.
Kind
You know,
of, yeah.
kind of. You know.
Yeah, but you're helping people.
Yeah, right.
Because what they're gonna do is they're gonna go before an ICE official, and like you sit in like a little room, and the person interviews them, and you just have to like, you're basically the United States has certain requirements. Like not anyone, no one can be like, hey man, I had a rough life, like let me in. Like
Right.
there's a legal barrier to entry, and so you're finding out if they. Wow, this is real positive shit.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
real.
No, this is good.
You're doing
Man.
something positive
Yeah.
for someone else,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
awesome. I'm
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's probably a side of you that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I knew you did that, like through the grapevine, I heard that's something that you did, and that's why I wanted you realistically. That's why I was like, oh man, that'd be good. I told him, I was like,
Yeah.
he does some work. I didn't know exactly, so it's good to kind of hear that.
And I had a better set than you had to laugh at. I'm
Hey,
kidding.
I bow down. You go ahead.
I did.
He needs you to give him individualized.
I will. He killed
He
his
knows.
set.
He knows.
He killed his set.
put
I'm
that
doing
on
it
there.
very
Yeah.
political. He killed his set.
But I killed my set too. That's what it is.
yeah. Along with me.
So did I.
Yeah.
No, man, that's good. How long? So you did that for about a week, you said?
Yeah, so it was only a week at a time. I mean, I'd do it for longer, right? But like you got to work and stuff. But yeah, I mean, there are people going down on a regular basis. I mean, there's so much need.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You've got tens of thousands of people seeking legal entry to the States, and it's just backlogged and chaotic. So, I mean, I did my part. No angel by any means, but you do your part.
That's all you can. That's all you can ask for. Do your part. If we think about it, if we all just did our part, you know what I mean? Like how much easier things would be. You know what I mean? Like, because I think we overcomplicate things by trying to do it all ourselves, and we talk about it a lot. We do a lot of talking, but nobody puts things in action. So. You know, like just something little like that. I remember when Katrina happened. You know, I was younger, so I couldn't really move. Call that on camera. Everyone got me. Trying to look like a little bitch on this shit.
For those that are only listening.
Yeah, for those that are listening, I flinch like a mother.
Dario's okay. He just got attacked by a fly.
Yeah, no, but
it's really beating his ass too.
it has, bro. And I watched her. You know what I mean? You know what it is? It's that swagger by Old Spice, boy. I'm telling you, boy.
is that what it is?
It is, bro. It attracts flies.
You said you wouldn't say what my scent was on the air anymore.
Oh wow,
my bad.
All right,
it's all right. It's fine. Keeps
no,
me
but
dry.
anyway, we talked about the Katrina. Like that was like Katrina. I know my cousin. He went down there, and a lot of people went down there to kind of help out with that kind of stuff. And that, like. You don't realize how grandiose that thing is, that situation is, until you get down there and you're like, man, how could I do anything to help? You know what I mean? But you know, you never know if you touch a couple people, you know, get into their mind and like enlighten them, make them happy. You know what I mean? Like that will move a lot of people.
Yeah.
You
it
know
moves
what I
a
mean?
lot, and that mindset by touching a few, like those people could touch a few, like you know what I mean?
Right.
Like so you rubbing off on somebody else or doing something positive for them and making them feel comfortable in their situation, and in turn they can make somebody else feel comfortable in their situation. So it's spreading positivity, you know what I mean, and spreading the good.
Even at
the good
minimum,
vibes,
just showing someone that they're seen. You know, that's important too. In situations like that where you're just like a number, just to humanize a person and listen to them. Because you can imagine that every single story is heartbreaking, but you have to decide if it meets the requirements. Like, how did you stay positive, or were you able to maintain some positivity out there?
Yeah, I don't know. Part of it is just you're doing your job, right? Like it does almost become like work, right? We're like, okay, next person. They sit down and you reset it. Yeah, I don't know. Part of it too, though, is like you're just so blessed.
Yeah,
you're just so blessed that like like that you're volunteering. Like you're in a good position when you get to be the person aiding someone. So it's I don't know. It's kind of just put your head down and go to work. Right. You know. I don't know.
Yeah. Just put your head down and go to work. That's a good line right there.
Oh yeah.
Put
That's
your
the
head
line.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put your head down and go to work. That's kind of like where we started with the podcast. You know what I mean? Like trying to take a stance on the positivity and kind of grasp, what's out there, but just doing something with it and actually doing something. I mean, there's a ton of podcasts. It's like podcasts are like comedians nowadays. I mean, everybody's got one. Everybody's
Which is why I was surprised when you told me I get paid. I was like, wow. I was like, wow.
We gotta figure this payout, man.
This is the first one.
I gotta figure this out before the show's over.
I feel like you guys weren't told about that. No,
no, I was left in the dark.
Oh yeah. Real positive, Dario.
I paid to
Real.
be here, so that's
oh wow.
That's is that how you're paying him?
I'm sipping my tea.
We gave Delmy got tater tots first show. We lured her with tater tots.
Yeah.
That's actually true.
Yeah.
Starting to notice a theme with this podcast.
You get lured.
It's like built around food. Yeah.
You know what? That'd be fun. Little turn, little something to do. We supposed to have some drop.
I can't cook. So I'm not gonna say I can't cook. I don't cook. Let's just put it like that. Cooking is not my strong suit. Like if I have a significant other, I'm doing all the cleaning. As long as you cooking.
As long as you cooking.
As long as you
that's the
cooking,
deal?
I'll clean everything. I'll do laundry. No problem. I'm cool with that.
You folding too?
I'm folding too. Yeah, I fold my own goddamn clothes, so why wouldn't I? You know?
Is this like an ad? Are we shooting an ad? Like
He's trying to get picked up.
Ladies.
Trying to get chose.
Just what am I doing in the frame here? Just, go ahead, bro. He cooks. No, he doesn't.
No,
he
he
doesn't
cook.
Come on, get
He
it right.
folds.
I
He
fold
folds.
laundry and clean. I'll do all of that.
Shit. I put that shit in a basket.
And pick it out as it goes. Oh, right. Let's start talking about chicken sandwiches again or something. Anything.
I put that shit in a basket. Wow.
I look for my favorite drawers when I need
Oh
them.
my god! You guys need to make the most intense like dating videos. Like I put that shit in a basket. I fold it.
It won't be
you
tender.
know.
It'll be called
Yeah.
tough.
Tough.
It's not tender. There you go.
Rough.
Yeah.
Rough.
Rough and
Tough
tough.
man.
Rough and tough.
Oh my goodness.
TUFF.
TUFF with an extra F because we gotta be different. You know, tough. You know, tough.
Well,
Yeah.
as y'all can see, man, Chris is a really funny guy. So
Yeah.
I want to know, how did you get started into stand-up or into comedy in general?
Because I'm an
Coming from
idiot.
England to Missouri, and then it's like, oh, okay.
From Cadillac to Missouri.
Yeah, Cadillac to Missouri. There we
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
That's because I'm a goddamn idiot. I was like, yeah, let's go work for free for 5 years of my life and like work for drink. Is this not insane what we do?
It is. It really is.
Insane. Like if you're abort. If you want to do this, don't fucking do it. Okay. Like I know that this is a positive podcast, but you get a second job that's billable. God damn.
I mean, that drink ticket is billable.
Because you're an idiot. You watch someone on stage and you're like, I can do that. I can do that. And then you get up there and you find out, oh shit.
This is hard.
I can't do it at first. And then, that's why you do it, right? Yeah. I mean, when you were growing up, didn't you see someone just killing it? And you not only were like, that's fun, but I also want to do it, but I can do it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
I would just look and I was just like, no one's interrupting them. That must be nice.
I want that.
That's fucked up.
She just unpacked a lot, didn't you?
Think of her childhood. Like, you mean nobody interrupts me? Like, do you have siblings? Yeah, I bet you do. Yeah, holy fuck. Let's unpack that. Yeah.
Now we're at my point of the segment.
Yeah.
You own spice.
Yeah.
I fell for that.
That's insane. Like,
I mean,
Yeah,
try going
totally.
in the black household, boy. They never. That shit tough too. Shit.
yeah.
They don't interrupt.
Here's Dario interrupting her.
What I tell you, hey, I'm living up to it. Living up to it.
Yeah.
Put that
Just
shit
like
in
when
the-
we were at home, bro.
Yeah. You had a home.
We'll assume that we're not. Really.
Yeah. So that for real, was that an honest thought? You're like, they're
I
known.
just saw an opportunity right
Oh,
there.
okay. All right.
I had to go for it.
It is crazy watching people do because you do have that feeling like, man, I could do this. You know, I could get up there and do it. You know what I mean? Like you just say, all right, let me do it. You go to your first open mic, you're like, shit.
Yep.
God,
And there's also something too about like you get it. Like I'm not embarrassed to admit this because for the art was great, right? You guys listened to Bill Cosby growing up,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Of
Yep.
course you did. We all did. We
Yep.
all did
We all
because
did.
of as the artist for who
Yep.
he was as an artist.
Right.
I remember my parents had a Bill Cosby album. It was Bill Cosby himself, and the first time I ever put it on, and you're just like, this is magic. But not only that, you listen to it long enough that you start to understand why he does what he does and like why he paused where he paused.
Right.
And it's like there was a old filmmaker, Woody Allen, also not a great guy. And just, oh man, just learning from the creeps.
I mean,
And he was talking to Louis. No. And but there's this at one point he was doing like a guest lecture like NYU, and they're like, hey, how did you know in your famous movie Annie Hall to break character and talk, to speak into the fourth wall, right, to look into the camera and talk to the camera. And he just almost was like, if you don't know instinctually how to do that, then you don't got it. And he's like, if you don't know that that's the right move, then I can't help you. And I feel like if you are stand up and you got it, and I've seen you guys do sets, you guys have it, like, if you've got it, you got it. You've got that instinct,
Yeah.
and so that's why I can't quit.
Man, that's crazy. Because we were just talking about that, Delmy. We were talking about that the other day. How I ad lib a lot during mine, and that's like something I just do. I just do it. You know what I mean? And then the one time I got away from it because I thought that traditional comedy should be straight form, not that kind of ad lib thing. I sucked. You know what I mean? Like I sucked, and I had someone tell me, "Hey man, why'd you get away from doing what you do?" And I was like, "Well, I thought that was the way to do it." I went right back to doing my ad lib stuff.
Wait. So you were staying on script so much that you had no ad libs, no tags.
Yeah. Because I kind of write. I write with the intent that I have my ad libs, that I'm going to go on my strength of my ad lib. Wow. So I'll write on that, and it works. That's how I write. So I write with the intent that I'm going to use my strong point, which I didn't know at that time was a strong point. I was just going off for sheer. That's who I was. I got away from it. And it just wasn't me. You could just tell up there. That
was weird.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Are there ever nights when you don't have energy? Because you know how with stand-up, like it's also physically demanding. You gotta cycle to the gig or ride a 45-minute, a bus and a train and da da da. It's cold, wet, and rainy, and then you're like, I really don't want to be here. But like, right as you're about to get on stage, you're like, Hey, it's good to be here. Did you ever find yourself out of gas?
Yeah.
I ask him that all the time.
Yeah. So it's funny that you asked that question because a couple weeks ago, man, I was out of gas. You know what I mean? I was out of gas, just out of it. And I found that from hosting. You know what I mean? Not the shows, because you go on the show, I'm on somebody else's show. So it's easy. I don't have much to do. I got 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what the set is, and I can go. Then I'm done. But when you are running your show, you have to have that energy for the other people that are here for the
You're like faking
crowd.
it. You're faking
it.
Yeah,
you fake it to an extent. Yeah, you really do fake it. And that probably drains you even more. Because now you just put on the show, you got no outlet, you can't unbox it or unpack to anybody, and you get right back in your car, go home, you're like, God dang it, I didn't do it. Like I still.
Or sometimes you're out of gas, right? And then you have such a great set, it elevates you.
Yeah, right.
And now you're like, I don't want to go home. I'm like,
yeah.
Are we staying out? Are we going out? Like,
We've been there before. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah. I mean, I think that is actually. Sometimes you need to get therapy. That's the therapeutic part about this. Because like if you can find that niche and get out of it that way, I mean, there's almost nothing greater than that.
I hope you don't mind me telling the story, but
Please do.
No, go for it.
My girlfriend at the time had broke up with me. I think she broke up with me on a Monday, and I think it was that. Might have been that Thursday or that Wednesday. Yeah. So 2 days later, 48 hours later, I had to go on stage and perform. And just was like sitting in the back, like, but somehow magically, it's like, because you are contractually obligated to do well, right? You can't go up there and be like,
right. Feel bad for me. She left me.
You can't, and I know that right now she's over there, like fucking Danny, like,
I knew it was him whole time.
The whole time, yeah. And he's a comic, actually he was a volunteer firefighter, but anyway, which was worse.
He was volunteering.
I made more money that night. But anyway, like the only thing is like somehow like I did like the second you bound on stage, you're like, I'm contractually obligated to do well, and so you turn on the joke, you turn on the personality. It's an act. I get why it's an act sometimes, and I did well. I did really well. And that's not a brag, like, how like when you did well, and like someone messaged me the next day, they're like, that was phenomenal. So like you get the external validation, and the point being like it is a job. Like there's an anecdote. Christopher Titus, I think, found out right before he went on stage once that his wife at the time had been cheating on him, but he's got a sold out house, he's got his audience, his fans, like. And he's just like, I had to just go out there and do my act.
Yeah. Think about the Jordan flu game. When you put in this work. You think about Jordan flu game, man. Like,
I think some of that, like when people experience that, when you have to get on stage and fake it, quote unquote, or like just push through, it just speaks to how much passion you actually have about what you're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because some people, if you don't have a certain amount of passion for what you're doing, you're not going to give a fuck about what somebody's going to be like, oh, I'm not going to the show. Like, I'm canceling tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just speaks to how much passion that a person have and how much drive you have and committed you are to yourself.
Yeah.
And some self-accountability, how much self-accountability that you have, too, to just get up there and say, all right, man, look, this is what I came here to do. I'm going to come knock this out of the park. And I'll deal with the shit afterwards.
Yeah. Right.
Or this is going to help me get through the shit and let it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're going to get on stage and you're going to be talking shit about what you're going through.
What you're going through.
And people going to think it's funny, but you're really like, all right, I just need somebody to fucking talk to me right now. You know?
Y'all here, so here we
y'all
are.
here, so it's a lot of y'all, so I might as well. You know?
Yeah.
That's pretty dope, man. Like, I never forget the time where right before I was about to go on stage, we had a show at North Bar. Brandon Scott was the host. Really cool dude, man. Honestly, does a lot of improv. He grabbed me like and talked to me. I never forget. You've been to North Bar, right? So North Bar, I was gonna say
comic in Chicago.
I was gonna say you're a comic in Chicago.
Have you ever done a show North Bar?
Shout out to North
that
Bar.
venue that doesn't. Oh yeah.
So I'm inside by the window. Brandon's standing on the outside of the window, right? And he literally grabs me through the window and says, "Hey, are you having fun?" And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah." You know, I'm like, whatever, man. Yeah, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I get on stage. Had probably at that time, that was my best set I ever had.
Yep.
And all I kept thinking while I was up there, are you having fun? You get that one laugh and you're like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm not going to tell Brandon I wasn't having fun. You know what I mean? But okay, now I see what he's doing. And then it was a snowball. And now that was, at that time, that was my best set I had.
Yep.
But it's also something about like just getting up there and being in your element too.
Right.
Like the night of my level E graduation show at Second City when I was doing improv, my brother had died. Look at improv.
Oh, here we go. Improv versus stand-up.
Fucking nerd. I'm kidding. I do improv. I've done it. Yeah. But if we could cut when I call him a nerd, that'd be cool.
Keep it.
Yeah. I don't want any of that admitting that I've done it. No.
Don't say nothing.
But that morning, dude, I found out my brother had died. My stepbrother had died. And it was rough. And I was like, man, I'm not going to the show. And I'm like, but I got people counting on me, you know? Yeah. So I just sucked it up. And it was probably the best thing that I could have done at the time because I didn't sit at home. I didn't sulk. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, just let me get up here and let me be in my element. And we had a dope ass show. Like, Dario was there.
Yeah.
We had a
Y'all
dope
had a dope
show.
show.
Yeah, we had a really dope show. So it, like I said, it's just something about being in your element and being able to kind of escape.
Yeah.
You know, for the moment, for a little while, and get to yourself. You know.
Yeah. Sometimes it feels like you send out a representative, and they say you should send out a representative when you're out there and not fully go in yourself because that shit's raw when you go up there. You put yourself out there.
You know what we're talking about in a way. There's a book. Did you ever hear about it? It's called The Inner Game of Tennis. You ever hear about this?
No. Nope.
So I think honestly, like wrote by a tennis pro. I want to say like the 1970s, right? But it's like one of those cult books that's sold tens of millions of copies for decades. The whole idea, like basically he was a tennis pro, right? And imagine like you're like learning to play tennis. And he's like, no, what? Get the elbow here. And that hand needs to be there. And do this. And so while his giving a tutorial, while the student is like trying like, well, and loosen up and da-da-da. And like, it's like, one day he just was like, you know what, I'm not gonna just tell the student anything. He goes, just do this, and he's just like, you know, he's just hitting a tennis ball, you know, and so he's kind of got that like repetitive motion, right? And he goes, just copy me, and so the student gets up there and he just starts hitting the balls perfectly. Wow. And he was like, oh, like if I nag at him, he's gonna fuck up all the time. Yeah. But if I just show him what to do and let him have fun. And so the whole idea is like getting out of the way of yourself. You know, and it's like when you watch great stand-up, you're like, why is that great? And then you realize, oh, it's great because they're having fun. The audience is having fun. Now they're having fun. Oh, they made it fun. And then the stand-up who bombs or struggles, like they don't want to be there, they're tired, like they didn't make it fun. Right. You know? Right. Yeah. I sound like an idiot.
No, man,
you gotta catch a vibe.
That's positivity. That's what this is about. Like,
catch a vibe, man.
Give some nuggets, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you meant by catch a vibe. I was like, all right, yeah, cool.
Yeah, see, we caught a vibe.
But see, that's the thing. It's effortless when it's good. Like when you see them. For me, the other day I was thinking, I'm like, man, when it's really good, you just keep waiting for it to start.
Yeah.
Like for me, a show goes by in a blink because I'm like, man, I'm just waiting because I'm just so into the stories that they're telling where I'm just like, I hope it's not over soon. And then those are the shows that go by so quickly, you know, because it just flows like that.
You can, and if you are, even if you are that comic that bombed, right? Even if you are that comic that bombed and then you have somebody go up after you and kill it. I know I've been in a situation where, man, I wasn't my best. But then you some part of you is like, dude, let me get back up there. I got it now. You know, like,
that's the worst part. Because like if you're in your head, and because which I sometimes do, right? I get in my head. It's just a natural part of me. So I'll be in my head. I'm like, I don't know what this audience wants, and a lot of old people here, whatever, right? You know, and they're not gonna like me or da 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 da. And then you go up there, and all that anxiety shows, and you're like second guessing, and you're rewriting your set list in your head, and it's like just okay. But then the next guy's like, oh, I'm just gonna go have fun, and they like bring a drink up there, and they're like making fun of someone, and they're killing, and you're like, oh, I should have done
forgot.
That. I should have just had fun.
Right. As simple as that is, man.
Yeah. Just 10 out of 10 times. 10 out of 10 times. I should have just had fun.
Just have fun. I'll never forget that. That was 2 years ago when that happened to me. I'll never forget that. Just are you having fun? As simple as that. Are you having fun?
So you mentioned about getting into your head. How do you get out of your head? What do you do to get yourself
You know,
out of
I
your
had
head?
one recently. I was going up on stage. I was tired, exhausted, did not want to host this show, right? I think it was at House of Blues, actually, and I did not want to host it. There's a lot of tourists. It's a lot of, like, tourists. And I was just like, man, I'm tired. You know, and it's the strangest thing. It's like, so they've done studies with Olympic athletes, like, where time and time again, like, after someone wins, they go, well, were you nervous? And they go, no, I wasn't nervous. I was excited. And so time and time again, you can actually find clips on YouTube of like Olympic athletes just being like, I was actually excited. I wasn't nervous. And so I try to be like, you know, it's not that I have to do stand-up tonight. It's that I get to do stand-up. It's not that like I am tired in this moment, but I'll never forget this moment. Like, you know, they go, give it up for your host, Chris Trani. And the audience goes nuts. And something in your body goes, okay, we got to get on now.
Right.
And it's funny. It is almost like, in that way that we're talking about, it's like almost like two-faced. Because you're like, oh, I'm so tired. And you're like, how are we doing? But smiling works. Like being present works. And I don't know. You just rise to the occasion.
You ever think that, like, what I think is I don't want to ruin somebody else's day. You know what I mean? With my attitude. You know, granted, I have to do this. You know what I mean? And like you said, I get to do it.
Yeah.
But now, even if you have a bad day, there's somebody out there this is their first time at a show, first time at House of Blues, first time at My Buddies, and it's like, yo, I want to see this such comic. And you come out there with dead energy. Now they're like, what the hell? You know, what is
in the back
this?
of your mind too, you like, how do I make this enjoyable?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, how do they came out here to see like the show. So how am I gonna make this enjoyable for them? Like, all right, at this point, fuck how I feel. You know what I mean? Like, how can I like put them in a better mood? Because like you said, it could be somebody out there that's like, oh, I had a shitty day. Like, we could be on the same path. We both had a shitty day. It's like, well, how can I turn their day around at least? Like, you know, what I mean? And in turn, it may help turn yours around. So.
Right.
Well, it's also like it's a job. You
Yeah,
know?
right.
Seinfeld talks about, he's like, I want to be able to, his goal when he was learning comedy, and I share the same one, he goes, I want to be able to walk into any room in America and get laughs. Like the way he put it, he goes, I always wanted to be able to land that plane. So it doesn't matter if it's Cleveland, Ohio or Sacramento, California. Like, I'm going to walk in there and you can give me the mic and an audience and I'll get the job done. And I was like, that's what and you're right. Like, House of Blues is a perfect example. Comedy Bar is a great example. It's a lot of tourists. And they've never seen comedy. So like, you want to fail those people? You want to get up there with like your new shit and bomb and like be like, I don't care, it's new shit. Like, do a job.
Do your
you
job.
know, like open strong, close strong. Want to work on new stuff in the middle? Great, but like. Do your job.
Is,
you know?
Is that kind of like how you go with it? Now I'm kind of getting off tangent. Now I'm learning from you. You said open strong, finish strong, middle. You kind of throw some. Is that kind of the?
Yeah, I don't like to like do new stuff at the top. I've seen people do that, and it's like digging a hole, you know. And then I gotta get out of this, you know. Like, I try to work new stuff in the middle for sure. I also like, you know, going back to that like example of like doing well, like. Do you know who Brandon Kiefer is by any chance? Great comic, local guy. And I had the best conversation with him once. He's like,
almost look at it like a gearbox, right? Like gear 1 is like crowd work. Gear 2 is like your one-liners. Gear 3 is like, jokes, right? Gear 4 is like stories. Gear 5 is like, and all this stuff. And he's like, let's say you're bombing, He's like, it's almost like pitching too. It's like you reach back and you grab your closer, your heater, that's your fastball, and you just unleash it. Well, now you get a big laugh and you won him back over. Okay. So it's like, and Ed Town said to me once, he goes, at our level, we should not be bombing. And what he meant by that was like, you should have enough tricks in your bag, the crowd work, stories, one-liners, your closer, your opener, that like, you should be doing well. Right. You should get yourself out of that hole. Anyway, that's
you know what? Because that's a good point because sometimes that comes off as like cocky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had this conversation, but I was thinking I think we talked about this like, man, I'm here now. You know what I mean? Like I'm here now. Forget if I'm one of the best, or I still should know my craft. And, like you said, shouldn't be bombing
it's good to
at this
hear.
point.
It's good to hear that with responsibility comes all this preparedness. Because people think where it's just like you just inherit it and now you're up there and it just happens.
No, I work for this. I work for this.
You can go up there as much as you want, but I don't know. I take these moments where people are like, what else am I gonna say? And I'm just like, I'm just like,
what do I want to talk about?
I forgot.
Like you should have decided that at the bar.
Right. Didn't you write that down?
I think I rather leave early. Like I rather end strong and leave early and leave them wanting with more than like, let me fill the silence because that's not like the time up there is precious.
One of the coolest things. Sorry.
No, go for it.
One of the coolest things.
Getting interrupted again.
Yeah, my bad. Interrupted. I knew. I was like, damn it. Here we go. That was a good time.
Damn it, Dario.
No, my bad. No, I was thinking. So, Darrian, when I was going through the Verified Labs run last winter. That was kind of like my introduction to the Chicago scene. That was like my breakout moment right there. And the first set, I'd done something that I've been doing, right?
Yeah.
And so I'd been doing it at that point for a year and a half. I think a year and a half at that point. And I go to Darrian, and I'm like, yeah, man, what am I doing next? What's the next show like? What jokes do I have? Darrian goes, dude, open up the playbook. You've been doing this for a while, man. You got a whole bunch of jokes nobody's ever seen. Just do it. And at that point, I was like, you're right. What do we call it? The mixtape?
The mixtape.
Like, show him your mixtape. And I was like, damn. Like, as soon as he said that, I was like, yeah, I have been doing this. Like, I got a bunch of stuff to just do, So, and at that point.
I just think sometimes people just like the confidence in themselves sometimes. Like, like sometimes you're just like, oh, what am I going to talk about next? Man, just get up there and do you. Yeah. Like, get up there and do the shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you were saying earlier how you, like, once you stuck to the script and you got thrown off with, like, and not doing your ad-libs and stuff, dude, that's, like, your natural ability. And everybody's got something just natural that they do that works.
Right.
And when you start to defer from that, and defer from what you naturally do, that's when things go like south. Just like you said, like I defer from my ad libs. Like, man, just stick to the script. Like you've been doing this and getting all the reactions. Like, why second guess yourself? Why have to rethink things? Why have to redo things over? Like it's been working.
Well,
like,
and you also know it's been working is a great way to describe what I call high success rate jokes. You know if the joke works, yes or no, does it work? And you should have jokes that are working every set. They're in your 5, they're in your 10, they're in your 15. Like I don't throw them out because they work every time. So if I'm in the comedy bar, like A stage, B stage, I'm gonna do them in either room, bar show at my buddies, whatever. Like I gotta do those jokes at least to open with them.
Yeah, you know what hits.
Right.
Yeah, man, that's so good to hear for like if you're a new comedian, you listen to this man. Like that's some stuff that even me I warned about. Like, 'cause you don't want to come off as like I just keep saying cocky in my head, but like you don't. I think like that though. It's like, all right, man, this should work. Like I know I'm going to do this. It should work.
What's the difference between being cocky and being confident?
Like
a confident person is a prepared person. Like a cocky person is just
Yeah, right. You're smug. You could tell on stage. You could tell.
Well, sometimes though, Gary Shandling was like, the second you think that you've got something figured out, you don't got it. And so there's something about like if you have a great set on a Thursday and then you go up on Friday, you're like, I got this. You're like, I don't got it.
You know who else is really good online? Gary Goldman.
Yeah.
Follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
Man, he gives some great nuggets, man. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, like some of the, and I've learned so much from him. He'll take an old joke, rewrite that joke, put it in the front, put it in the bag,
Yeah.
move it around, add a little bit to it, even if it does work. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
try something to keep it fresh. You know
Yeah.
that like. I suggest everybody go follow Gary Goldman on Twitter because he dropped. I mean, I think he's on like 190 something pieces of information. But this is probably the most informative. I'm like sitting here learning, man. Like I'm getting affirmation. Really, is of what I know now. You know,
because it's a craft and you're studying.
Yes, and that's what it is. And I'm not. I mean, I'm 2 years in the game now. You know what I mean? Like,
shit.
I'm coming for you, man.
Oh my God,
man! I learned from everybody.
You need to die.
Man, I'm riding the wave, man. Like it's cool though. You know, I've always admired the smart comedian.
Earlier, off the air, we were talking about not being naturally wired to be positive. Because you were like, what am I doing here? It's a show about positivity. I'm like, I ask myself the same thing. Oh my God. I'm not. Who has to work at it harder? If you're naturally positive, Neil Brennan has a thing about being a good person. He's like, people who are naturally good people don't have to work at being good people.
Right.
I'm not naturally wired to be a good person, he says. So I'm not naturally wired to be positive. Like I work with depression. Let's just, be honest about it. And I'm not naturally wired for it. Like it feels like sometimes my brain is like, this is how I put it perfectly. Like a light switch,
right?
It's constantly dimming on its own, and I have
to run over it.
Come on, and I'm like making dinner. I'm like, it's all good, it's nice and bright, and all of a sudden it's just like, I'm like, oh no! All right, let me go and turn it back up and turn it back up. That's what it feels like for me.
Yep.
So, are you naturally wired to be positive?
Good God, no.
Okay.
No. That's why when I got asked to be on this, I was like, I'll only do it for that 10 G's. You know what I mean?
10 G's, Dario?
I was like,
10 G's?
Hey, man,
I was like,
you
hell
had to get them. Had to get them.
Well, then apparently because it's a podcast, I get residuals.
Yeah,
so for like,
it's going every time you stream.
Every 10,000 streams, I'm getting a check, right?
Yeah,
we can work it out. We can work it out.
Yeah, buddy. This goddamn catchphrase.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. Oh boy. No, I'm not naturally positive either. But where I at least stand up wise, I don't know. I look at it kind of like sports. You big in sports at all? Like,
oh yeah.
And that like how many mics have I done this year? Like I count my reps. Like I know people make fun of people who do that. I don't give a shit. I do it so I don't post it on Facebook. I do it for me, and I do it to see like how hard am I working. You know, I have to do about 300 reps a year to feel like I'm working. You know, so I don't know. No, I'm not a naturally positive person, but I don't know. Like I guess if you want something, just go for it, right? You know.
There's a level of positivity though that you exude though, that we all exude. You know what I mean? And that's why this podcast came together and it balances, it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might not be naturally a positive person, but like I go back to the first time I met you, and this is how I think, you know. There's so many comedians in the city, and I've talked to Darrian and told him, like, man, hey, dude, I look up to people so much, you know what I mean? And he tell me, stop doing that because you do the same thing as them. But I still do that, you know, because I respect the art and I respect the people that came before me. And to me, you came up to me and were just sitting there talking. I'm like, and I've seen you on social media. I've seen you all over the place. And in my head, I'm like, yo, I'm just sitting here talking to Chris Trani. Like you know, like I thought, and I get it, you know.
Starstruck.
Right. I do that. You know, I do that with
That's
everybody.
so funny.
You know,
I ain't shit.
You know what's funny is I did that in my job. So when I moved to the flagship store and where I work, and I walked in. First thing I said to the media person, I was like, "You a celebrity?" And she was like, "Man, I'm just a regular person." But like that's just me giving respect to people, you know. And like it was natural. You were just cool. You came up and talked to me, you know, like normal. You know what I mean? And I was like, it's cool. And then you were laughing, joking, helping me out. Went up there, did your thing, came back, talked, stayed around. Like that kind of stuff. That's the energy that when we say catch a vibe.
Energy.
Yeah,
it's energy. You have
know?
nice energy.
Yeah. And sometimes it ain't about like just, I mean, you're going to have positive moments sometimes.
Right.
And sometimes it's not a positive person. It's just people that have positive moments. But it's all about the energy that you providing and that you putting out. You know what I mean? And just meeting you for the first time, just sitting here next to you, it's like, I hear and I feel exactly what he's talking about when we say energy, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And it may not be like, oh, I'm
on a
Delly
lot
the
of
same
meth
thing.
right now. I mean,
Delly
woo.
the same thing. She made it say like I'm not the most positive person sometimes, but it's the energy that she puts out that people feel, and sometimes it ain't about always being positive. Hell, I ain't always positive. You know what I mean? We go through life and shit get thrown at us left and right, but positive moments and the energy that we have and that we provide to other people define who we are.
Right.
And you know what I mean? And I think people take that for granted. Like
Yeah.
you may not be a positive person, but know that you can provide positivity to other people, and that energy that you put out is important.
Yeah.
You know?
And I would at least say a couple things to you. First off, though, at least and this is how I think in terms of stand-up, right? As a stand-up, I think like a stand-up. Like, I said this to a friend the other day. Everything that can go negative in a stand-up's career will happen. I think if you're doing stand-up, just almost like your default setting should be, I'm going to bomb. I will bomb. There's a bomb around the corner. I'm going to have a good set. It won't be a great set. We always want it to be a great set. It's never always a great set. 10% of the time, it's the most amazing, miraculous, wonderful thing. 80% of the time, it's just good. Like 20% of the time, it's not great. But like, a club's going to deny you. A booker's going to deny you. You're going to get bumped from a show. You're going to get bumped from a lineup. Like, I think I told myself this summer, any rejection that you can incur will happen. So now that you know that, you're kind of like, you're seeing the world eyes wide open.
Right.
You know?
It kind of makes that easier. It makes it when it happens easier. You know? All right, I planned for this already.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the next thing.
It's almost like expecting nothing. Like that's what I do. That's what gets me through. I don't expect anything.
Yeah.
And then it takes your ego away when you don't expect anything from it.
Yep.
You know, that's for me. That's how the only way I can have fun. No ego.
I
can't have ego.
I keep a journal about stand-up. And it's like studying the craft too. And I call it comedy curveball. And it's like those days when you're like, I'm a fucking kill it tonight, and then you show up and you don't, or it's gonna be an amazing show. I'm so excited to do the show, and no audience shows up. It's canceled. It's like tonight. I'm so excited to get to do stand up tonight. It's snowing. I can't get to the venue. Like anything that can go wrong can and will sometimes go wrong. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, it's true.
But it's almost like then you're sort of like you're less caught off guard.
Right.
You're being
if that
realistic
makes
with
sense.
yourself at the
Yeah.
same time too. Yeah, because that's just life. That's reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, you need people to tell you this stuff. Like, there's nobody that's going to tell you that at the beginning of your career.
Right.
You know, because like I wish I had somebody there for me, because there was a 6 month, 4 or 5 month period where I quit.
Yep.
You know, like I quit comedy because of my first bomb.
Yeah.
Like my first bomb happened, and I was like, fuck this. I'm not having that feeling ever again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I don't mean to paint stand-up in this negative light, like it's cutthroat. I mean, it has that element to it. What I mean is that, like, at our level in our careers, we're all in the amateur circuit, right? So it's not like the audience is always there. We're not selling out the Chicago theater. So, like, it's just turbulence. It's just the act of being in amateur comedy, you know? And so it's not personal. I'm not saying, like, if I'm experiencing this, other good comics are experiencing this. So it's just what it's like being a comic,
Just
you know?
turbulence. It's just
turbulence.
It's turbulence.
I like that.
That me too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just turbulence.
Just turbulence.
Because when you think about it, that's really what it is.
Yeah.
Like, we're not at the point of the Chicago theater right now. You know what I mean? We're not there, right? But we're doing what we're doing right now to get there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be rocky, and you're gonna come out of it.
That's
You
just
know what I mean?
life too, man.
That's just life. That's just life.
Things happen
Yeah.
in life. It's just turbulence.
It's just turbulence.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah.
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 That's man.
All right. With that, man,
Yeah.
I say we just introduced the new flavor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That was man. So we got a game that we want to play.
Oh, God.
Yeah. we got this from Sway in the morning, man, doing his 5-finger death punch. Have you ever seen that? It's,
No.
It's
No.
pretty cool. So what they do is they give 5 different beats.
So
and
we're
they-
stealing.
Yeah, we are.
We're- wow.
But I changed the name, so it's it's not copywritten.
Cool. That's
I'm-
like that'd be like you taking another comics joke and be like, no. I named the joke different.
Damn.
It's not at Subway. It's at
I
Arby's.
replaced it a little bit.
I replaced it a little bit. It's a little different. You know, a little different.
okay, it's just
Use a
turbulence.
different name.
Right.
Just turbulence.
Yeah,
Just
I
turbulence.
didn't say Mary. I said Karen.
But It's different. It's not plagiarism. No, but what we're gonna do? We're gonna give you 5 different words, and we want you to just completely riff comedy-wise.
Oh Christ!
Oh, for those.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it'll be fun. And I got a random word generator that I pulled up. Let's see. Do we like these words?
Oh my God!
Do we like?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
You.
So we'll start.
I have nothing to do with this.
Bro,
Clearly.
It was his idea.
bro, you're the improviser. You're the one who does improv.
I liked how you used my Tinder profile.
That's exactly where I got it from.
Great. I love how we're doing improv on a stand-up podcast. But all right.
Yeah, man.
Oh God.
This is gonna be great. You're the first one, man. So the first one. First word.
Wait, and I'm just reacting? What am I? What?
Yeah, just you make up something funny. Riffing off of it. Just say something funny. What comes to your mind with these words, okay? All right, first word. And you just go after this one. Glass.
No, what?
Glass.
Glass. Ah, God. I think of M. Night Shyamalan and that movie with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
You know, like Samuel L. Jackson is... Am I doing this right?
You are
like,
make something funny out of it, man.
Here.
What? Man, this is some bunk punk podcast. Yeah, please.
All right, so glass, right?
Glass.
So am I doing this right? So glass, positivity or show, whatever.
Just make it funny, whatever.
Some people think about the glass half full, glass half empty. There is no glass.
Ain't no glass,
Yeah.
huh?
It's just it.
You just spilled water all over yourself.
All over yourself. And that's what this feels like sometimes.
That's what this feels. Yeah, we did spill what the
and
top.
you're like, I should have got a glass.
Yeah.
So my crotch is wet. You know,
Yeah.
all right.
There we go.
Boom.
All right,
There
That's
we
how
go.
the first glass happened.
Yeah,
That's how the first glass
Next
happened.
word.
And scene.
And scene. Next word we got is honor.
Oh.
Get your honor back, bro.
Oof. Oh my God, I think of Judge Judy and that bullshit show, and just watching and being like, these people are awful, and it made me really sad for humanity.
You should watch the Spanish
Sorry.
shows, though. The
Oh, yeah?
Spanish honor shows. Those
Yeah?
are violent. They're good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you should do that.
Judge Judy. That was honor.
Black
That's
Your honor.
your honor.
Black
Your honor.
I guess I should. I was never a good improviser. So.
No. That was actually good.
Yeah, thank you,
That was
thank you,
good.
thank you.
Next word, sensitivity.
Man, I think I'm me. I'm a bitch. You know, next word.
Moving on. Advisor.
I think of an academic advisor, and he should have told me to not study economics. Like, you're not smart enough for this shit. You know, like go to film school. And regret. I'm gonna cry.
Oh, man.
Hopefully, regret does not come with the last
Yeah, this
word.
last word.
The last word.
Thrust.
Oh.
I mean, now we're gonna be positive. That's a clucking good time. That's a now I look like a gross boy. But yeah, you know, always a good time.
Oh, thrusting.
Someone
Tell us about
look
your-
at me.
Look at him.
Oh my God, my mom won't watch this, so that's fine.
We're gonna tag your mom.
She
so
won't get. There's no way she's getting through all this.
She was like, no. After the chicken, she's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm done. I'm done. My boy's a pescatarian.
Nailed it. Yeah.
Oh man. Hey man, this has been fun.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
No,
Thank you.
it's been fun.
Really, it's a
Thank
great
you for being
podcast.
Really.
Yeah. I mean, you guys could use some better digs, but
Man,
I'm kidding,
it's
kidding.
normally
It's
in there, but
It's great.
Man,
Yeah.
we really do appreciate you, man. Tell us, you run a couple shows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Plug those
Yep.
shows so people can find
So
you.
every Tuesday, if you're listening to this, watching this, it should still be going on whenever this airs. Every Tuesday, we're at the House of Blues. We book some of the best comics in the city. It's a great room. Like, we get like 100 people easily, just
wow.
because like tourists, like the concierges really push people. We don't really advertise anymore because like the work does itself. But House of Blues in the Foundation Room. Probably want to get there at 7 o'clock at the latest to get a seat. But great show. And that like they book great comics like Joe Kilgallen and Marty DeRosa, and like they book some of the best in the city. So that's every Tuesday. And then I'm quite proud of this, and you should all come and do it. It's a fun show. We do a stand-up comedy show in the South Loop.
Okay.
It's called Tight Ship Comedy. Dumb name because we don't run it that tightly at all. It's disorganized AF, but we love it. And we're in the speakeasy room of Half Sour Bar. So when you go into Half Sour Bar, you go downstairs into the basement, and they've got this cool little private speakeasy. And that's where we do it. And that's every Thursday at 8, doors at 7:30. Also a free show. So, yeah, if you like stand-up comedy, Tuesdays, House of Blues, Thursdays at Half Sour Bar in the South Loop. So
There you go, man. We'll find you. Where else can they find you? Follow you on social media.
Oh man, at Chris Trani. So that's Instagram, Twitter, Pornhub. Sorry, everyone has a joke. I couldn't help myself.
Right.
It just comes out. But yeah. Fuck me. No.
Thrust.
Thrust. Yeah, thrust. Yeah. Oh my hat.
It's okay.
All right,
It's okay. It's just a little turbulent.
It's all right. It's just turbulent.
Just a little turbulent.
That's all.
It's your screen name, Thrustball.
Yeah, you know.
Thrustball.
Delly, last but not least, got a little honey roasting to do.
We have, should we? Okay,
Yeah.
so we have a segment called Honey Roast, which is the opposite of the roast that we're used to. So we pick a person that we can think of that deserves to have some positive praise.
Oh wow.
So we just want you to
Positivity.
say one positive thing about any person not
Any
in this
person
room.
that just
And
comes to mind.
Oh, not in this, but like maybe a local comic or something.
anybody you
No,
want
or-
to just give a positivity.
Oh man, you know what the most immediate person that comes to mind? Do you know a guy named Tyler Fowler? Do you know that guy?
Tyler, he's been on this My Buddy show.
Oh yeah. So nicest guy in comedy, and honestly, like I think he's gonna go far.
Yeah.
He writes, he performs. He's now a house MC at Zany's. Like, I think if you're looking for like a nice guy, like a good person, a person of integrity, like I would say like he's become one of my better friends in comedy, just because like. It's nice to have like a good person in your pocket. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so I sound so dumb. No. See, I don't do the positive thing. I don't do the positive thing.
I have a corny Tyler story that Tyler doesn't even probably know.
Yeah.
You know how I razz you because I'm like, we've met before, but we had, he didn't remember. It's fine. I met Tyler when I was first starting at open mics at Tapster. He probably doesn't even remember this at all, but he is a genuinely nice guy who shows up to my. Not one of those, like, I'm not digging at the people who, like, ask for spots or whatever, but he signs up just like everybody else, sits, actually makes eye contact with you when you're doing your set. Because as someone who's gone up last, I like to stay last for mics. Like, we stay. Because it's important, and he is a genuinely nice dude, and that's how I know. I don't know him like that, but that's how I
just like a good, nice guy,
and crushing.
And I think he's an example too of hard work. I tell him this all the time. He's a better comedian than me. He's gonna go farther than me. I just feel like he's a nice guy who works hard. So
really nice dude. You've been on the Rise and Laughter show twice. I had him on. So first time I saw him, he's really cool. He's a really cool dude. Exactly what you said. So Tyler, if you're watching this, man,
shout out to you, man.
Shout out.
You've been honey roasted. And that's it, man. Again, thank you for being on it, man. This is our fourth complete episode, third chapter.
Third chapter.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. We appreciate it.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate
dope,
it.
man.
Yeah,
man. We'll have we'll do something. Wink, wink.
You were about to say we'll have you back, but then you realized
then I realized
that'd
no,
be
we're
dumb.
not. No, we won't. You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
Part 2 to this thing. Who knows?
Yeah, episode 148. Yeah.
Speak it up, man.
Right.
We're gonna be there.
Right,
I'll
be back. Yeah.
Appreciate you, my brother.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
We'll see
All right,
you.
y'all. Be positive.
Be positive, man. Thank y'all for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll be back next time.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Now we're getting paid.
J. Allen Productions.